The mystery of Roman concrete. Though many will claim that our modern-day concrete is equivalent to that of ancient Roman concrete, educated researchers are well aware of the lost technology and how our modern-day construction efforts pale in comparison to that of ancient Rome. For reasons not entirely known, Roman concrete was capable of setting and hardening even when underwater, as well as the fact that the concrete structures were far more stable and capable of support stress than modern-day concrete, of which requires the addition of rebar to handle tensile strength to prevent the concrete from breaking down. The use of this concrete allowed the Roman Empire to accomplish engineering feats that rival even the greatest construction efforts of the modern day, and to have formed structures millennia ago that will more than outlast any modern-day constructions fitted with the greatest techniques in building. In fact, researchers estimate that if humans were to disappear, the last standing man-made structures would be that of the ancient pyramids of Giza and those made using Roman concrete. The flashes before an earthquake. Referred to as earthquake light, it has often been reported that during an earthquake, people have observed strange lights appearing in the sky above them. The reports seem to coincide with areas near tremendous tectonic stress, such as seismic activity or volcanic eruptions. Originally, many researchers believed the flashes were nothing more than visual hallucinations by those experiencing the earthquake, and believing to see strange lights in the sky. However, given recent seismic activity, the occurrence of these lights have been proven, and many theories as to how they are caused range wildly. To this day, no one really knows what causes these strange lights, and some have gone as far as claiming that perhaps the lights are more supernatural in nature, as some sightings appear to have occurred moments before an earthquake even happened. Other theories, known as the positive holes model, believes these earthquake lights to be caused by the sudden ionization of air. However, evidence for this theory has been dismissed and no supporting proof has been provided. The Rosetta Stone. The Rosetta Stone is seen as one of the single most greatest discoveries that has resonated with changes all around the world to uncover the secrets that many at the time had believed would never be understood. Discovered in 1799, the Rosetta Stone proved to be the missing key required to decipher the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, as well as the mysteries of the ancient Egyptian civilization as a whole. The stone itself had 3 separate written languages inscribed upon it that was believed to have been created back in 196 BC, and told the story of the deeds that had been accomplished by the pharaoh at that time that was believed to have been written by the high priests of Egypt. The top and middle texts were ancient Egyptian written in both the hieroglyphic script and the Demotic script, while the bottom text was a translated paragraph of the top 2 decrees written in the ancient Greek language. Using these translations as the basis for the language, experts began translating decades of hieroglyphic scriptures discovered all around ancient Egypt that before this point could not be understood. Not only did this lead to an explosion of knowledge in the Egyptologist community, but helped to shed incredible light into one of the oldest civilizations on the planet. Many experts believe that without this incredible discovery, we would still be no closer to translating the ancient Egyptian language even in the modern day. Not only did this help us to preserve the information crafted so many centuries ago, but allowed us to piece together a much clearer picture of the origins of civilization. Da Vinci's robotic contraptions. For a brief moment of his life, Leonardo da Vinci worked as a chief military engineer for the Italian army and worked at designing new and innovative weapons of war to assist with the influence of his country and the political gain of those closest to him. This led to a wide variety of new and interesting designs created by the inventor to help with war efforts whenever necessary. Many of these designs include helicopter-like aerodynamic machines capable of flight, large trebuchets, catapults, and engineered ways to get over large stone walls without sacrificing any men, as well as a variety of ancient tank designs powered by horses or protected gears. These all pale in comparison to Leonardo da Vinci's greatest hidden invention, the robotic knight. After Leonardo da Vinci was put in charge of a pageant in Milan by the Duke at the time, he felt compelled to design an interesting machine that could replicate the movements of a man completely independently. This led to the design of a suit of armour filled with mechanical gears and wheels connected to an internal pulley and cable system that could do a variety of functions on its own. Back in 2002, Mark Rosheim discovered several of these robotic knight notes and used the designs to recreate the robot in the modern day. Not only did he find that the robot was completely balanced, but that it was capable of independent motion such as walking, waving, sitting down, standing up, and moving its head and lifting its visor. These designs would later be stolen and used by NASA in developing their own cutting-edge robotics in the future. 7 Earth-like planets found in TRAPPIST-1 system. What's better than finding a planet that could support life? It's finding several planets that could support life and could very well have extraterrestrial organisms on them. This is exactly what NASA achieved in 2017 when it announced that it had discovered 7 Earth-like planets orbiting the ultra-cool star TRAPPIST-1. According to astronomers, it is absolutely mind-blowing that a single star system could host 7 Earth-like planets, all within the habitable zone. The host star is about the same size as planet Jupiter in our solar system. This fascinating star system is located at a distance of 39 light-years in the constellation Aquarius. The star is estimated to be 500 million years old, and according to astronomers, its properties are such that it will far outlive the Sun in our solar system. Researchers are now studying the various properties of these exoplanets. They have already calculated the orbits of these planets. According to researchers, some of the planets in the system could have as much as 5% of their mass in liquid water form. In comparison, our Earth has only approximately 0.02% of its mass in liquid water form. This means each of these planets could potentially have 250 times more water than that on Earth. Researchers have also been able to find the densities of these distant worlds. It is estimated that the density of these planets is around 0.6 to 1 times that of Earth's density. According to researchers, the innermost worlds, TRAPPIST-1b and TRAPPIST-1c, could have rocky cores and they could have much denser and thicker atmospheres than Earth. Researchers believe that these 2 exoplanets could have dense, thick and steamy atmospheres because of the heat received from their host star. The other exoplanets in the system could be covered with ice because of comparatively lower heat received from the host star. Researchers believe that TRAPPIST-1d is the lightest planet in the system, and its low mass could be a result of a large atmosphere, a huge ocean, or a frozen layer of ice. TRAPPIST-1f, TRAPPIST-1g, and TRAPPIST-1h are located at such a distance that although they could have some liquid water, there is more chance of them having a completely frozen surface. Also, they have thinner atmospheres, and chances are that they lack the heavier molecules present on Earth. Although all 7 planets are within the habitable zone and look similar to Earth, one planet in particular has shown quite similar characteristics to that of Earth. TRAPPIST-1e has almost the same mass and the same radius as that of Earth. Researchers have also found that the energy that this planet receives from its host star is almost equal to the energy that Earth receives from the Sun. NASA reports that latent viruses in humans may be activated during space missions. According to new research published in Frontiers in Microbiology and funded by NASA, over half of the astronauts during the Space Shuttle and International Space Station flight have shown latent herpes virus reactivated within them, which is believed to have been caused by stress. The research is in line with NASA's deep space travel with astronauts going to the Moon and Mars, and how the immune system of the astronauts reacts in space missions. The herpes viruses remain in a dormant state in the spinal cord nerve cells as controlled by the immune system of the body. However, these viruses can be reactivated and reproduce, especially for people who spend time in space. When this happens, the person shows no signs or symptoms or becomes ill, except if the person is elderly or has a damaged immune system. According to Dr. Mehta at NASA's Johnson Space Center, 47 out of 89 astronauts on short space shuttle flights and 14 out of 23 on longer International Space Station missions shed herpes viruses in their saliva or urine samples. These shed viruses are higher in terms of frequency and quantity as compared to before or after the flight. Dr. Mehta went on to list the physical challenges astronauts have to face, from spending days to months exposed to radiation and microgravity, to the increased G-forces of takeoff and re-entry, to social separation and confinement. All these gives rise to the secretion of cortisol and adrenaline, which are stress hormones and are bound to change the immune system. The rapid viral detection systems were developed by Dr. Mehta and NASA, alongside International Space Station immunologists and virologists. They are currently looking for countermeasures for astronauts who would be embarking on deep space travel. The hikers on Devil's Mountain. Resting on the borders of San Pablo, Laguna, and Dolores, Quezon is a mountain referred to by the locals living in the area as the Devil's Mountain. The mountain, known as Mount Cristobal, has been surrounded with a number of disappearances from hikers every single year that claims the lives of even the most experienced hikers in the region. Despite this, it appears that the majority of bodies have not been recovered from these missing hikers, leading some to believe that, instead of perishing, they are taken to another world of some kind. One such story from the locals tells of that of a married couple that went on a hike to the mountain and stayed there for a few days. After they had met others and told them they would be taking a forked path, they were never seen from again, leaving many people wondering which path they had taken and become lost, since there seemed to have been no forked path in the area. This story would later come up once again after a group of boys went to the mountain on a hiking trip and came across a married couple that fit the look and description of the couple that had went missing a few years prior, and so followed the couple, believing that they might be ghosts or strange manifestations of the lost couple. As they followed the couple, they witnessed them going down a forked path and so followed them, of which eventually led to them losing sight of the couple and sustaining injuries falling down an area of the mountain. This has led some to believe that the lost people of whom went hiking on the mountain are still there, stuck in a possible time loop or warped reality in which they are jumping through time and encountering other people of whom have went missing on the mountain years prior. These fears have left many, including experienced hikers, worried as to how or why these strange occurrences have been appearing on the mountain, and so leave many fearful of journeying through the region. The Hopkinsville Goblin. Back on the 21st of August in the year of 1955, there was an impossible-to-explain incident that led to many believing that perhaps some strange extraterrestrial beings, later given the name of the Hopkinsville Goblins, had made contact with humans, being only to demonstrate a malevolent behavior. According to the police report surrounding the incident, the Hopkinsville Police Department reported that 5 adults and 7 children entered the police station obviously distraught and in a panic. They reported to the police department that they had been in a gunfight lasting more than 4 hours after small alien creatures had come out of a spaceship and began to attack them at their farmhouse. According to 2 witnesses of the event, they claimed that there had been somewhere between 12 and 15 short humanoid figures that had repeatedly popped up at the doorway and peered in through the windows that forced the family to open fire to keep the creatures from entering the home. As they would shoot the creatures, they claimed they would fall to the floor momentarily, only to roll away and get back up and resume trying to enter the home. The others gave descriptions of the creatures that they believed were extraterrestrial beings standing at roughly 2 to 4 feet tall and had large pointed ears, claws for hands, and large eyes that glowed yellow. This led to the police department sending 4 city police, 3 deputy sheriffs, and 4 military police to the farmhouse to conduct an investigation on the matter, leading to them finding evidence of the gunfights, bullet holes and clawed attempts to enter the home against the doors and windowsills. A few hours later, the family would pack up and leave the farmhouse entirely after reports claimed the creatures had returned at around 3:30 a.m. and tried to resume the gunfight once more. Nothing more was ever understood from the event following this incident. The Lost Franklin Expedition Ship. Ghost stories and theories of potentially new uncovered diseases or monsters out in the vast expanse of unexplored territories arose after the mysterious disappearance of the Franklin Expedition Ship. In 1845, a British explorer that went by the name Sir John Franklin began his expedition in the hopes of discovering a northwest passage through the Canadian Arctic. Although the voyage was incredibly well funded and the team was provided with more than enough equipment and means to begin their journey, supplied with 2 ships and over 129 men, this did not prevent the voyage from becoming a terrifying tragedy. Sir John Franklin and his crew would completely vanish from the face of the earth and never be heard from again after starting their hopeful endeavour. For decades, the circumstances surrounding the event remained a mystery. In 1859, a group of explorers discovered 2 notes that had seemingly hinted at the fate of the crewmen that were dated approximately a year apart. The first note had detailed that the ships had become trapped in the ice, and the crew planned to wait out the winter before continuing their journey, which remained filled with tones of an upbeat attitude and hopeful promises. The second note, however, took a dramatic turn. The note reported that while the ships had continued to remain trapped during the year, the crew of the 2 ships began experiencing an unusually high mortality rate from an unknown cause. The note detailed that Sir John Franklin had died under mysterious circumstances, and the remaining crew, that the note referred to as survivors, would attempt to walk south to safety against whatever appeared to be responsible for their mortality rate. None of the crewmen were found alive, and the local Inuit population reported finding human bones with strange markings that made it appear as if whoever they found was eaten alive. No further evidence was uncovered, and the full story of what had occurred remained a mystery. This would change in 2014, however, as it was announced by then Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper that one of the ships had been recovered. This finding will likely hold clues about the exact fate of the expedition, but has yet to be investigated fully. Oddly enough, the second ship has yet to be found, but there is no doubt that it will be uncovered soon enough. Unfortunately, further information regarding the recovered ship has not yet been made available to the general public. Military encounters with the Jinn. Definitely seen as one of the strangest reports of modern-day encounters with the Jinn was a military encounter seen in Mosul, Iraq back in June of 2003. An Iraqi soldier and other fighters were stationed at the second floor of a police department to assist with the attacks against the police between the locals and the law enforcement of the city. A lot of people were confused by the sudden attacks by the police, and so one of the main purposes of the Iraqi army assisting with safety was to uncover the reasons as to why such disturbances were taking place. In one of the reports taken by an Iraqi military squad stationed for 24/7 surveillance, they claimed that they encountered several Jinn of whom were watching and patrolling the station. The report details that they believed the individuals to be Jinn due to the fact they had glowing red eyes and seemed completely unfazed by the bright surveillance lights used to blind passers-by of whom attempted to get too close to the station at night. Shortly after the report was filed, the entire station was attacked and every soldier and police in the department were killed with no survivors. It then circulated that the Jinn were at the centre of the attack, and the majority of the disturbances were caused by the Jinn waging the plans of attack. After the report surfaced, the attacks stopped, with many locals claiming that the Jinn went back into hiding after they were discovered.